There is no shortage of demonic rituals in America, and especially in Hollywood and California. There's been overwhelming evidence to support this, to show that all these people in Hollywood are in the occult. They're doing all kinds of crazy rituals, and it even goes down the rabbit hole to getting to the point of Bohemian Grove and some really sick and twisted stuff out on an island. But I'm going to go out on a limb here and say the most possessed person in Hollywood is probably Beyonce. Now, in this one, I dug up some crazy things. So one of them being in Lemonade, there's this poem that talks about how she stopped her menstrual cycle by using pages of the holy book. And it doesn't stop there. There's a former drummer from her in 2018 filed a restraining order against her because she was doing extreme rituals, demonic dark rituals against her. So there is a lot to unpack here. I ask you guys to be patient. It's crazy. This is baffling. I can't believe more people haven't talked about this stuff because I didn't hear about it till now, till I just looked it up. So the first thing I want to jump into is she has a song called Church Girl, and the lyrics are wild. And I was kind of looking and I was hoping maybe there's a music video that shows it too so it can really hit home, but we just have the lyrics for now, which is probably better. But Church Girl is basically a song where she just convinces church girls to go twerk inside of a bunch of different clubs. In there, one of the lyrics saying like church girls acting loose. She's just convincing church girls to be ratchet. So it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Anybody can understand that. But let's jump on to page 2 here. And this is the fact that she publicly admits to being possessed, and she calls her alter ego Sasha Fierce. So we see this commonly in Hollywood. We see this quite often, that you'll see influencers and celebrities alike, they're all talking about this alter ego they put on. When people have this alter ego, you know what this really is? This is demonic possession. This is an attachment they have. They give it a name, they give it a personality, and what's worse, they even give it energy. They are feeding this demon. Now, when people go into Hollywood, this is what happens. When they want to get to the tippity top, I'm not talking about these people at the bottom, these like new celebrities, people who don't really have much power or much influence behind them. I'm talking about A-listers, the big boys, the people that are hitting hard. So as they come up the career ladder, they have some talent behind them. Now, the people can't be just pure talentless, but they'll have a bit of talent and they have an ability to maybe do music really well or play a certain instrument or be a good painter or actor or whatever it may be, just some kind of creative ability. And then they get picked, they get chosen. And the Illuminati, we'll use the term Illuminati just so everybody understands. That conversation is a little bit deeper. I know that's not the real name behind it, but what they're doing is Kabbalistic rituals. And I'm not talking about the written tradition of the Kabbalah. There's 2 forms of it. There's the oral and then there's the written. Now, the oral tradition, you'll never come across. And I only was able to get taught a tiny bit of it, and then the guy backed out. He didn't like that I was talking about it publicly. But the oral tradition of the Kabbalah is, first of all, it's only taught to men. Second of all, it's only taught to men over the age of 40. They're very selective. They don't just let everybody know what they're doing or how to do it because they don't want other people to be able to do what they do, and they don't want to get fully exposed at the same time. But if you have ever wondered where these rituals come from, that's where it is. That is the absolute source for the darkness. But anyways, back to Beyonce. Her alter ego, Sasha Fierce, is pretty dangerous because when she got picked, she got chosen. They said, hey, this girl's pretty good. She's talented. She has the look. She has the ability that we want. Let's amplify it. And so they come to him and say, hey, you want to be loved? You want to be liked? You want to be worshipped? You want to be praised? You want to be rich? You want to be famous? You want to be known? I'll give you everything you want. Just do this thing for me. And then they get these people involved in rituals. And it's no surprise that they pick people with a background and a family that doesn't have much money. They're not going to go up to the rich kid and convince him to do this. They already got what they want. They have an easy life for the most part, right? Some don't. But they have a pretty decent life. They find people that come from hard places to get them to do hard things for them. Now, the rituals that Beyonce is involved in is very dark. And I'm going to say she is probably the most possessed human in Hollywood by a long shot. And I know some people aren't going to agree with that, but I really believe so. And I say this because of the outcome, because what she's able to pull off tells me there is a group of people, a circle of witches, a little coven behind her that is doing some gnarly stuff behind closed doors. So let's jump into her former drummer, because this person exposed everything. I mean, this is enough for everybody to like go haywire and really understand how dark Beyonce's music is. So Kimberly Thompson is Beyonce's former drummer and has publicly accused her of doing extreme witchcraft. But when the story came out, it got really swept under the rug. Like, this isn't something that's easy to dig up. It doesn't really come up on Google. You have to search for very specific things and dig a lot. And then it's funny, now the Google's new AI thing comes up and is like, oh, this is just a conspiracy. People are saying it because of XYZ, and it's not true. There's no evidence behind it. The Google's AI is silly. But anyways, her former drummer went to the courts and tried to get a restraining order against her, which unfortunately got denied. When I'm trying to find out where Kimberly is today, I can't find anything at all, which is kind of more scary because if something happened, nobody knows, then they hid it. But the restraining order got denied. Now, the restraining order was pretty substantial. It was pretty dangerous. Like, if somebody came to me saying like, hey, this person is doing this, you have to at least acknowledge it. You have to at least look into it, which they didn't. I'm going to do my best to try to explain to you what this says. I'll pop something up, but I have to blur words out. There's words used that I can't say on here, so you guys understand. But it talks about how Beyonce is involved in dark magic and magic spells of SM. Now, the specific type of witchcraft, they say, remains unclear. Now, we know where it comes from, but of course the Newsweek article writer didn't. Now, the drummer has also came out and told everybody that she has tapped her phone, used certain things to control her finances, you know, the same stuff that happened to Kanye. It's funny because it's the same thing over and over and over again. And whenever people come to speak out against these people in Hollywood, they just get deemed crazy. And then they're like, oh, well, we just need to put them on some crazy SSRI. We need to get them on Seroquel. We need to just dope them up until they're just unable to defend themselves. They can't speak. They become a Seroquel zombie. Now, I'm going to bring up for you guys this poem called Denial. It's from Lemonade Part 2. I don't know exactly what that is. I've never watched it. But in this poem, she talks about how she plugged her menses, you guys know what I mean, from pages of the Holy Book. Now, notice how she didn't say Holy Bible. She said Holy Book. The Holy Book she used in this manner. Now, that is probably the most disrespectful thing I've ever seen to religion ever. We've seen videos all the time of people like burning the Quran, burning the Bible, just like lighting on fire, speaking out against it. But I've never heard of somebody doing this. Like, using the word of God to stop a menstrual cycle is probably the highest level of disrespect that I've came across. I can't think of what would be much worse. Like, I don't know. Now then comes my next question is like, what would possess somebody to do this? Like, only a demon, only something evil, like somebody going to the extent of doing something as disgusting as this. There's nothing short of evil. Like, you have to be extremely dark, demonic to get this far. In the occult, I've never even seen people do that. Like, I've met some real hardcore, like, Satanists, people who think demons are the good guys, and they don't even go this far. They don't believe anything about the word of God in the slightest. And not only that, they like despise it and hate it, and they haven't even taken it that far. I've never in my life seen anything like it. Even in the deepest parts of the occult, people aren't doing this crap. Now, on top of that, there is tons of videos of seeing this possession happen to Beyonce on stage. People posted all over the place. And for some reason, people don't believe it. So you guys have to understand this part of things. When you speak out against stuff like this, there are people who will attack you, who will defend it religiously. They'll twist and manipulate, and they'll do whatever they can to make you feel like this dark, evil stuff isn't happening because of this person. And they are wrong. These people are under the spell. They're under the trance. When they go to these concerts, so many people report back saying they don't remember a single thing about it, that they have no idea what happened during the entire concert, that they just blacked out. This is because they are extremely susceptible to the spells. The people who are more spiritually weak have no connection to God, no connection to the Creator. This is going to be stronger on them, and they will get to the point of fully blacking out. Now, when they black out in that moment, these things are going to imprint onto their brain, into their mind, their personality, their heart, their soul will become entirely corrupted because they are no longer with their body. Now, in a lot of these concerts, you also tie alcohol into the mix. There's a reason why alcohol is called spirits. They talked about this forever ago. They called it spirits because the idea is that your spirit leaves your body in the moment when you're under the influence. So you have rituals on stage, alcohol corrupting you physically, and then they're just imprinting whatever they want. They can do whatever they want to you in that moment and put this into your subconscious. So these people who defend these celebrities like they're some kind of hero, they're just under the spell, and you're never going to be able to get them away from it. They have to choose to do that on their own. And while researching for this, I've seen a lot of things. Like, it's got to be one of those weird things where the news says the same thing like 100 times. You guys have seen the video where they layered it all over in the same thing word for word. They keep asking, like, is Beyonce demonic or divine? And if you have to ask, it's always demonic. Like, none of us are prophets. We're not chosen. We're lucky at best. Like, the word of God can come into us. We can help spread it through dawah and other activities, but we're not just handpicked by God to be divine. We're not an angel. And when these people sit here and try to claim that they are, you always know that they are the darkest ones. These people come up and they're like, oh, I'm chosen. Oh, I'm Jesus reincarnated. You always know that that's the most evil person, that they're trying to manipulate everybody. Now, it's not just Beyonce, but what if I told you her sister's involved with it too? So in 2018, her sister was at the Met Gala and had an outfit. And in her outfit, she was carrying a bottle of Florida water. Many people don't know what this is. It's got a bunch of weird stuff behind it. But Florida water is used for incantations and spells. It's one of the things that is used in a lot of different rituals for multiple different things, all the way from voodoo, hoodoo, Wiccan practices. There's a bunch of different reasons that people use this, but it's basically just like an infused water, and they use it for certain spells. So even her sister, there is photos of her sister carrying this around for the world to see. She wanted everybody to know that she was holding this thing. They're doing it right in front of your face, guys, and people just don't believe it. They don't want to wake up to it. They just want to stay in their little bubble. So I appreciate you guys. That's all I have for next week. Drop in the comments to let me know who you want me to go over next. Like, if there's a certain celebrity where it's like very public, or maybe even some that's not very public, some that might be, some that's a little bit more under the radar. It's been really interesting digging up these celebrities and seeing what's behind it. Another one I've been thinking of is MGK. There's some certain songs that are very, very, very specific about what he does. I like his music personally, but I also know what he's doing behind closed doors. But let me know, guys, what you want next, and we'll dig into it as much as possible. I'll uncover the silly things because there's certain keywords I figured out how to use. But I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you next Wednesday.